change. You know, I said I would show the bad stuff as well as the good stuff. Well, this is one of the bad things. Let me take you around back and show you what happened. So I apologize for the noisy air pump, but I'm having to run air to the 3,000 gallons. I've got all the filtration turned off. I came around this morning to feed the grow out tank because we have babies, so they eat multiple times a day. And I noticed water on the floor here, and I saw that over here we're wet. So I'm thinking, oh god, because it had sort of pulled down the edge here. Just real quick, I designed the tank with a 3% grade front to back, so if it did ever leak, it would come back here, not into the room. So at any rate, I was like, oh my god, if it's leaking from the bottom, that's like the thing that's, I don't know how you deal with that. It's brutal. But I came around the side and I looked, and it's coming from that front corner. So let me take you up there. And like I said, please excuse all the noise and the mess. This is what the stressful side of fish keeping can look like. So I see that the leak is actually coming from this corner right here, and it's just coming down and then following the grade back. So I drained the tank down, and right here I found an area that pushes in, so the fiberglass on the corner, it either had a bubble or, you know, like a soft spot behind it, and it finally started to give. So I'm lowering the water further down, and I'm gonna have to get that get that area cleaned up and fiberglass that whole area, and put some more pond armor on there. So thankfully it is in an area that is fixable. When I built the tank, I went crazy on the bottom part because I knew that that's, you know, there's no coming back from that. So there's so many layers of fiberglass on the bottom, so many layers of epoxy resin, and then a whole bunch of poured layers of pond armor. So I was skeptical that it would be the bottom because it almost seems impossible. You know, knock on a tank here, but so it's good. It's halfway up in the front corner, and it's a bubble in the fiberglass. That is the area that's the toughest when you're doing a lot of fiberglass work on a tank this big, to get it all checked out really well. You know, obviously I missed the spot, so paying the price on that now. But at any rate, got the water coming down. Fish will be fine. It's still going to be 1,500 gallons of water in here, so they got plenty. And I've got those air pump, the noisy air pump in the background running, you know, putting air into the tank. So even without the filtration, as mature as the tank is now, it's been running 1.5 years, so a lot of bacteria built up in there, and a lot of plants. It gives me a time to go ahead and fix this properly, clean off the area, sand it down, refiberglass it, and then come back and put a couple coats of black pond armor on it and get it sealed up, and also give it a little time to cure first before filling it back up. So it's not always fun times with fish keeping, but as scary as this was at first when I saw the water appear to be leaking from the bottom of the tank, it was not leaking from the bottom of the tank. So this is fixable, and not a total disaster for sure, but definitely just a bump in the road. But like I said, gotta show you everything, good, bad, you know. Hopefully always interesting, yeah, and you get to see what I look like when I'm all stressed out dealing with a leaking 3,000 gallon tank. All right, I'll bring you back when we get some progress on this. All right, it's time to fix the leak on the 3,000 gallon. It's probably the worst video beyond just the fact that it's a leak on the 3,000 gallon, but with all the fans right in the background drying everything out. Probably a horrible video, but I figure you gotta document the bad stuff too. Also, I'm thinking I might as well show you what the 3,000 gallon looks like when it's 2/3 empty, because hopefully it'll never look like this again. So let me take you inside and take a look around. So as you can see, we are very empty. Lots of, so if you ever wonder, you get one piece of duckweed, you end up with a million pieces of duckweed. But give you a chance to see the actual 6 feet, you know, front to back. You know, you're all the way in the back and you're coming forward, and then a lot of times you typically see the fish all up in this area, but they can go through all of this substrate, and then they have all this area back behind it. So definitely a giant tank, and you can see down there 2.5 feet long, but total mess right now. Let me take you over here and show you the problem. So hopefully I'm zooming in on it, but that little area where I scratched away, and you can see the white, that is the flaw, that's the leak, and that's what we're gonna fix right now. So we're gonna clean up the area, and then we're gonna dry off the area, and then I'm gonna put this container down in the water to catch anything if I drop anything. But then we'll start working on a fiberglass patch. So we're gonna patch the whole entire area. We'll go well beyond the spot where we believe the problem is, and then tomorrow I have overnighted some pond armor, and then we'll get it all painted up. All right, time for me to get to work. All right, the fiberglass patch is in, and you can see we put a container there to catch any little drips or anything, but all we need to do now is let that cure. I don't have the pond armor right now, it doesn't come till the morning, but when that comes, I will get a few coats of pond armor on there and fill this bad boy back up, and we'll have the moment of truth all over again. I hope it doesn't leak, but I patched well past where the leak was, and I also did 2 coats of the fiberglass mat, so hopefully that does the trick. But next stop, more pond armor. Alright, there's the final pond armor on the patch. Couple coats on there, gonna let that get all set up, and it'll be time to fill the 3,000 gallon back up and get this baby running again. It's definitely, some of the plants are about ready to be submerged again. I don't want to wait too much longer, but so as soon as this is dry, we'll fill it back up. Well, I don't normally show the 3,000 gallon all unbuttoned like this with the top panels off and the covers all moved around and a lot of the filtration turned off, but I figured I didn't intend to make a video. I didn't want to have to make a video about the tank having a leak, so I figured might as well show you what it looks like bringing it back to life. So as you can see, we've got it filled up most of the way. Fish, as you can imagine, are kind of like, what's going on, you know, but they spent the last few days living in, well, they're still in 1,000 gallons of water, but a third of what they're used to, while I waited for the fiberglass and pond armor to cure. But they're no worse for wear. Nobody had any problems or anything like that, and they're all just sort of, I guess, maybe enjoying their 2,000 gallon water change. But one thing about a tank this size with 3,000 gallons is when you go to fill it back up, if you want to fill it up to temperature, you gotta do it in stages, because unless you have a giant hot water heater, you just can't produce enough, you know, warm 76, 78 degree water, you know, to fill up thousands of gallons at one time. But you know, here we are, right? So far so good. The patch is holding. If you remember, the flawed area was about a 1 inch by 1 inch area, and the frustrating thing about it is I was having this conversation with my buddy Brian, who goes by Reef Infidel, the other night, is that I remember that area feeling not right, like when I was building the aquarium. I don't know if you saw the 600 gallon build on this channel, I redid 2 areas of the fiberglass because they were a little spongy underneath. There was a little pocket, an air bubble, something, and I knew that there's the potential for the water pressure to get that to collapse just a little bit, enough to undermine the pond armor and allow it to leak. So I cut those areas out and I redid them. Well, I had an area like that on the 3,000 gallon. I actually started, when I was doing the fiberglass work, I started all the way down there and worked 20 feet this way, and the leak was over here in the corner. And I remember noting that there was an area afterwards that I wasn't that comfortable with, and then I just got totally sidetracked and forgot about it and didn't cut it out and fix it. And sure enough, a year and a half later, the water pressure did its thing, and it pushed on it and eventually got the leak. So the scary part though was it leaked down the side and underneath towards the back. And a leak in the very bottom of the tank would be very, very detrimental. A leak on the side, like where it was in the corner about halfway up, that's fixable. As you can see, I took an area that had a 1 inch by 1 inch flaw, and I put an 18 by 18 inch patch on it, or maybe a 2 foot by 18. But you know, I don't take any chances. So I cleared out a large area, did 2 levels of fiberglassing and 2, well, really 3 coats, but 1 and then a big thick coat of pond armor over it. So you know, so far so good. It's holding, and hopefully the problem is resolved, and I never have to do another 2,000 gallon water change or make another video like this ever again. That's the goal for this tank. But I figured, you know, heck, let's show the tank with its pants down, so to speak. This is what it looks like when it's in recovery mode. I know a lot of you guys are really perceptive. You got good eye. You saw stuff in the back of the video. See, there's a problem anyway. So I figure I might as well. I was going to hold off on the update for the 3,000 gallon that I've added all the new plants. I removed the wisteria, and we have all more Amazon authentic biotype type plants in here, other than the Anubias are still there, but a lot more swords and grasses, and even some really nice big swords a la SC Aquatics. Thank you for selling me those 2 beautiful, already adjusted for underwater growth, submerged growth swords. They are doing great. The fish love them. I do appreciate that. So like I said, I didn't plan on showing any of that till I was going to debut the lighting upgrade, the filtration upgrade, the planting upgrade, and the new fish. So not going to show you the new fish or the lighting or the filter upgrades, but you do get to see the new plants, albeit in a very, very messy mode here. The plants were basically, a lot of them were out of water for 2 days, so a little bit of recovery to do, a little cleanup on the glass, you know, definitely a big giant mess, but the key thing is it's holding water. I think the problem has been fixed. On the bright side, we got a 2,000 gallon water change, no losses of fish, no losses of plants. Oh, got a beautiful yellow flower up there from one of the lily pads. Got to check that guy out. Always nice to get the top shot on this tank because it's really hard to appreciate the 6 feet front to back looking through the front, but when you look top down, it's a lot easier to tell. Okay, well, I don't know why, but all the fish are on the other side, so let me go back over there. Okay, so what I'll do is let my hot water heater recharge, get me some more hot water, hopefully get the 3,000 gallon all the way filled back up, get it all buttoned up, and get all the filtration and the water movement and everything turned back on, and hopefully this is crisis averted. But obviously I got let a little time go by to make sure it's truly fixed. But hopefully so far so good, no leaks so far. I was able to identify the obvious flaw and correct it, so you know, knock on Aquarium, hopefully that is the end of it. But I'll follow up with one more segment of this when we get it filled all the way up, all the equipment powered back on, and hopefully have a proper looking 3,000 gallon aquarium. And I might as well go ahead and throw in the plug for keep an eye out for that other video where I'm gonna show you the new fish and the lighting upgrade, the filter upgrades, and we'll have this thing looking all cleaned up, everything looking sharp. Hopefully make a nicer video, try to get some you know, the underwater footage, everything of the fish. But most important thing is all my babies are safe. Nobody's worse for wear, and we got a patch on there. All right. All right, the sigh, giant sigh of relief. It's been 48 hours. The patch is holding on the 3,000 gallon. Well, it's definitely gonna hold. I'm not worried about that. I guess really what I mean to say is that the patch fixed the problem. I did identify the problem. It was a known and then forgot about thing that I should have taken care of, like you saw in the 600 where I cut out where I messed up on the fiberglassing and redid it. That's essentially been done here and recoated, and everything is good. Other than some water on the floor, which, you got a fish room like this, water gets on the floor sometimes. Crisis averted. Let me show you the fish. Everybody's doing great. I think they're just enjoying their 2,000 gallon water change. Probably a little, probably weren't enjoying living in a much shallower tank for a few days while I made the repair. But like I said, no casualties of fish or of plants. So kind of one of those all's well that ends well sort of situations. But all my babies are looking good. Everybody is just loving their home. They got space. Everybody gets along. Really, just no problems whatsoever. I was originally, before the leak, gonna hold off on showing any of the new plants, but I figured that cat's out of the bag. So as you can see, the Amazonian themed aquarium is more Amazonian now because the wisteria has been removed, and there is now many more swords, Rubens and Amazons, and there's been Dwarf Sagittarius grass added that's just taking off everywhere. It was just a very small amount of it at first, but it is doing what it's really good at, and it is running everywhere, as well as additional lilies were added to the tank, and some duckweed found its way in. Not a bad thing, I guess. Duckweed's kind of a pain in the butt, but it is beneficial. It does use nutrients, doesn't hurt anything. A tank this size, it will definitely going to be a lot of it, but I'm just happy that I keep saying that. I'm just happy that the aquarium, the 3,000 gallon, is all back in order, back in sorts. You can see the grass really taking off over here on the left-hand side. I think I get some daylight from the sliding glass doors on my left, and everything over here seems to grow a little differently than on the right side, even though they essentially have the same lighting from above the tank, other than what's coming from outside. But 3,000 is looking really good in my opinion. It's coming along. An interesting thing is changing that much water, it really took a lot of the tannins. There's a lot of wood in here mixed into that embankment back there, and it was a lot of tannins in the aquarium. And I don't mind that look, but quite honestly, I think the more clear look looks better. I like it. So again, trying to find some positive in a bad situation, and I guess that's one of them. Is getting that out of there. So you see the plants. Obviously, switched out plants, and that's one of the big changes for the tank. But and they're always growing. There's always change there with the plants. So I don't know if you can see the back there, but there's small swords all in the back, but you can see one that's putting out babies. So that's one of the things I need to do is adjust the lighting, because I want to increase their growth and not actually have them produce babies right now. I just want to increase the growth. So I'm still tuning in the lighting, and that's part of what the next video on the 3,000 will be, is actually talking about all the new fish. There's a lot of fish growing out in the grow out container right now, probably like 15 or so. And that may sound like a lot, more than what's in here right now, but it'll make sense when you see them. Some of them are big fish, some of them will be big fish, but not all of them. So some of them are sort of what I call like support fish. So there's a bunch of them when it's all said and done. The Severn. But I will basically go into the upgrades on the lighting. All the new fish additions will be in here for that video, and I will be upgrading the filtration and the flow through the filtration a lot. So there's gonna be a lot of difference there, and it'll be interesting to see the impact that has on the tank. Tank is very healthy right now, but it's lightly stocked. So before I ramp the fish stock up to the levels I want to have it at, I wanted to go ahead and get the filtration all sorted out, get it running at the higher capacity that I originally intended. So that'll be in the next video. But for me, I can sleep, finally sleep at night. I've been checking on the back of this so many times, making sure there's no leaks. But I found a like a 1-inch flat air and replaced it with a 2 by 1.5 foot patch. So like always, just trying to go overkill, so we don't have any more leaks, any more problems. Obviously, when I built this, I built it for the long haul. So hopefully, I'm going to get into a nice 20-year run with this tank where just no problems, just the evolution of the ecosystem, and we can follow these fish for the long term, because it's this is always going to be an Amazonian cichlid tank. It's just going to be a matter of seeing it progress, through the years, as things get added, as plants grow, as just as the tank evolves. All right. Thought I'd include a little bit of just extra footage of the fish swimming around, a little bit of background music, just a little space out a little further, get an idea of what the tank looks like, on scale, instead of close up.